Well, hi there. This is John Anthony Francis Wilcox. Today is Saturday, the 24th of June, 2023. And before I get into today's theme, and there is a theme today, just a quick piece of show and tell. I got in this lovely piece of vinyl today of the Fifth Dimension's second album, The Magic Garden, a favorite of the band, by the way, and all but one song, which is a cover of Ticket to Ride, written by Jimmy Webb. Beautiful album. I still don't have a turntable, as you know. I don't care. I want to have that slab of vinyl from 1967. So, as I said, there's a theme today, and the theme is, as my dad used to call it, Chicago. So the last time I was ever on a plane was to go and see my dear friend Laura in Chicago. She lives just outside of it in a little town called Melrose Park. And so went to visit her, was able to go super cheap because her aunt worked for the airline. And I got to go in first class, and as I recall, I believe I flew for free. But I had to wear the one thing. There was one demand, which was wear nice shoes because you're representing an airline worker. So I wore a pair of nice shoes that, while I was in the airport, after I got off the plane, I changed into a pair of Chuck Taylors at the time. I was wearing a lot of Chucks at the time, and there I was. And an adventurous time it was. My overall thing, I must say, I really liked Chicago. It reminded me of New York City in the best possible way, but with slightly shorter buildings. That's what I would say. And I don't know if I would say friendlier people. I guess there were, because the people are pretty friendly in New York City as well. So I suppose you find what you look for. But I had one request of my friend, which was, while I was there, did someone have an acoustic guitar so I didn't have to bring one on the plane? And so one was found. And I played out a gig. I remember the interesting thing about the gig, it was at a coffee house and under a nearby the elevated trains that go around that area. And it was a lot of fun. You know, I did a bunch of my own stuff, a few cover songs, a bunch of originals, and even played with some other local musicians. I was playing acoustic guitar, and then the evening had a name, and the name was Crambone. And the person running it said, a dessert of your choice, if you could tell me what it means. I said, not only can I tell you, I'll sing it to you. And as I recall, it was in G, and I sang, oh, Frank went according he did ride, Crambone. And I won the dessert of my choice, which was, in this case, this wonderful, home baked, I guess you'd say, or store baked, big peanut butter cookie. I love peanut butter cookies. It's a weakness of mine. And the song, of course, is from an old Tom and Jerry that was from the 50s, I believe, early 50s, with Jerry's Uncle Pecos, who was a mouse with a cowboy hat and a big mustache, and he sang that song, Froggy Went A-Courtin'. And he said Crambone. So there you go. So I played out. That was a lot of fun. We had such an adventurous time while I was there. Went into Chicago proper. Had deep dish pizza, which was fine. It didn't supplant the East Coast pizza, but it was good. I think the best food I had out there was, I loved their hot dogs. They had brilliant hot dogs. And whenever you got a hot dog, it came in paper, and they always threw like a little handful of French fries, no matter where you got it. And that was cool. It's like free bonus fries. and I had them. I don't have them the Chicago way with all the salad toppings, I'm going to call it, on it. I have mine the way I like them, which are some sauerkraut and ketchup. Thank you. So those were great, and I had what they call an Italian beef, which was basically a juicy roast beef sandwich with some of the juice even on the outside of the roll, because they said, do you want it wet or dry? And I wanted it wet. That was really good, I have to say. So, and they had great Mexican food there, because where my friend was a very big Mexican community in that area. And hit some record stores. That was cool. I just remember enjoying the town, despite the fact that my friend drove like wet soap through a fist. We would just go until she absolutely had to stop, and I was just like, I was on a terror ride. And this, by the way, was either late 2000 or early 2001. I want to say it was early 2001, like maybe like spring, somewhere in that area. And also, we went on an adventure to a place where, oh, I was gagging from how much cigarette and cigar smoke was in it. It was a bar, and in the back, they were having extreme midget wrestling. And I remember a guy who turns out died in 2020 named Puppet the Psycho Dwarf ran around yelling, "Who wants to see a midget bleed?" And you know what? Everyone did. So it was quite the time. um, Chicago area bloody extreme midget wrestling. Yeah, give that one a thumbs up. It was a lot of fun. The whole evening was fun, and my friend and her family, her husband and her sister-in-law, and other people that I met there, everyone was so wonderful to me. In turn, I made them a kick-ass lasagna, and I made some of my family's seafood salad, and I showed her how to make a proper sauce with some. They had really good local homemade sausages and stuff like that. So I did one that wasn't the elaborate, I guess people would call it a Sunday sauce, but I did a nonetheless a simplified, mainly flavored with hot and sweet sausage and basil and other stuff. And they loved it. And I think she may still make that version of the sauce. But I had a great time. It was my very last that flight there and back. I was supposed to go back, oddly enough, the week of September 11th, and it was a strange prophetic conversation. The night before the Twin Towers thing, I was on the phone with her, and I said, well, I'll see you at the end of the week unless something blows up. Next morning, I'll wake up, something blew up. Well, it wasn't you know what I'm talking about. And that canceled the trip. Never got to go back. I haven't flown since. Haven't had a desire to fly since either. So, but thank you, Chicago. Thank you to your folks and your wonderfulness. And thank you for today's theme and for joining me and indulging me. I'm very excited, by the way, because tomorrow, for the first time since 2019, I'm going to a Renaissance fair. And that will be its own adventure that I'm sure I will talk about next time. I hope you all have a wonderful rest of weekend and week whenever you see this, whatever year, whatever decade you see this. And I love you all. Be in touch. Bye-bye.